So you can imagine this is a level of abstraction that provides necessary interfaces for you, for instance, on the product level, to build AI for chat experience, for prompt response-like experience, using toolings. And what we are currently working on, what will come in the upcoming releases, is actually for agentic workflow. We want to make sure that all of this complexity is being encapsulated, that you have clear interfaces provided by Spryker that help you to build efficiently, fast, and safely features on the project level, as well fast to build the features, AI features in the platform. So it's not like every feature decides on its own how to go to AI, how to connect with the AI interface and so on, but there's a centralized managing credentials, communication, login, and so on within the system. That is what's AI Foundation about. It is since the last product release in December in early access. You can find documentation on the Spryker documentation portal, and it's quite actively in development. The second layer is AI Dev SDK. So it's a tool set for engineers and for developers on how to leverage AI on a project level, as well as for us in product development, to build functionality ultimately. It gives MCP server with different tools, also some of the reusable prompts, different configurations that help you to move through adoption phase faster than we did. There's also documentation on Spryker documentation, as well as we will have a nice demo today done by guys showing what kind of capabilities there are. And we also actively adding capabilities. So please follow like GitHub repository, but also documentation. We're constantly updating SDK with new capabilities. There's different use cases can be built with AI Dev SDK, then also leveraging AI Foundation as a core for communicating with AI. And then you can imagine different use cases being built for enabling both agentic commerce and in general, like different use cases on the storefront side, for instance, or in general, buyer experience, but as well as enabling operator, like a business operators to leverage in AI or like daily routine tasks. We already have different use cases, so we also presented. And everything when we built at Spryker, we always see how it fits what we're now focusing most on. It's AI Foundation, making sure that we give the solid core capabilities for building AI on the product level, as well as AI Dev SDK, making sure that all of the project guys can leverage AI, that we provide all the necessary tools that provide efficiency. For different use cases on the top, we are in the communication with some of the customers for having some POCs. We do have some early access features on our side, but we are not trying to be the ones who have 50 different features as in just look at what will stick. We try to make sure that we build something what is relevant for customers. And that's why if your customer you're working with is interested in a way, interested in try different AI features, please connect them with Antonio. We'll be super interested to do it together, to learn from customers, to support from our side, to provide necessary enablers and necessary capabilities, and move together forward. Last but not least, Spryker is not bounded to any of, again, AI vendor or so. We try to provide the maximum flexibility for our customers and partners, what kind of AI solutions to use, what kind of models to use. And whether it's in-house solutions, whether it's some SaaS solutions, we're actually quite open here.
So now after Alex, we have Vitaly with the AI Foundation.
Okay, thank you very much, Alex, for the final presentation of AI Foundation. Let me introduce myself. I'm Vitaly. I'm project tech lead in Spryker. It's more than 5 years experience here. And at the moment, I'm responsible for development AI Foundation. And if you don't mind, I'm going to start with the public documentation. We pay a lot of attention to create comprehensive documentation that also can be fed to AI agent to integrate the AI Foundation model for different features. But as it was mentioned, AI Foundation model that's a core model, and it is fully feature agnostic. Utilizing AI Foundation model, you can create any AI-related feature and do it in a simple and flexible manner. And at the moment, it's not a part of demo show, but we consider including it. And first of all, what we should start, and we should know that's configuration. And we suggest the next approach for the configuration. So by creating kind of configurations. That's a term pretty similar by its semantic meaning to agents that depend on provider. So in this example, that's OpenAI, different providing configuration, and as well as system prompt and the rest configuration that will be added later. By that, on this kind of approach, you can create any configuration and any amount of or OpenAI configurations, depending on feature, any amount of Anthropic or AWS Bedrock, as well as Ollama for local or infrastructure usage. So here is an example of how to run it with Ollama using Docker SDK as well. Also additional providers like Google, DeepSeek, Hugging Face, Mistral, Grok, Azure, and perhaps in future we will add more, having demand on that. But as you can see, we support multi-provider approach, and it's quite flexible, and you can use any configuration for this purpose. So that's the first benefit, and how it will work, I will show a little later. So let me skip these examples and go to the next important part of the AI foundation. That's a structured transfer response. Working with AI, sometimes we need to request a response in structured way, like having structure of JSON. That's possible, and the modern models now support this functionality and can respond to you as a JSON, and that you can parse and transform into any transfer object. So we decided to go ahead and make this feature absolutely compatible with Spryker and add an option to request AI foundation model to return a response from model as a Spryker transfer. So in this case, you can just define a Spryker transfer. It can be nested transfer, including arrays of transfers as well. Also some simple types like integer, string, and also in transfer you can, but that's needed to define a description. So there will be an exception if it's not defined. So, and exactly description can explain AI what should be in this exact property. As I mentioned, it can be simple types like a float, string, as well as array, for example, array of strings or array of integer, as well as going deeper, having property as another transfer. And it can be even array of transfers. Also, having this transfer, we can just say, okay, AI foundation, please return me using exact configuration, like OpenAI or OpenAI for exact features. So it doesn't matter. Give me an answer as a text. In this case, I just need to skip the response message. In case if I need to have a response in already prepared DTO, I can say, okay, give me a response in this transfer. And as a result, AI foundation can return your response as a already created instance of transfer. That's very convenient and can significantly speed up development. And there is no need to parse a response from AI every time inside any feature. So that's everything is already implemented inside AI Foundation. Actually, AI Foundation suggests try configurations. For example, if one time something happens bad with parsing response or response doesn't match format or connection issues, AI Foundation can retry a request. And in this case, the stability of integration increases. Here is described all possibilities, but also there is a limitation with structured response. And in this case, it's better to avoid deeply nested transfer. So just 1-2 level of nesting, so not more, because we can just confuse model in this case. And the third feature is a tool call, and to make AI compatible with application fully, and to be able to execute different callbacks inside Spryker applications that AI can define. This concept quite similar to model context protocol tools. In this case, you just need to describe this tool, describe parameters, and add implementations. So everything will be done by AI Foundation by itself. So there are described different examples, also compatible for AI to read and implement similar. And in this case, what we're mentioning that we need to define here tools as well as toolset. And we usually pass to AI exactly which toolset to use. So in this case, we can create toolset that can be shared from feature to feature and make it as flexible as possible. And having additional time, I would like to show the code exactly with debugging. Since AI Foundation is feature agnostic, I assume it would be interesting to understand how it works inside and why it works in this manner. So let's start with the first example. And in this example, we see that we create a prompt request transfer to AI Foundation client to use this configuration name. In this case, it's Anthropic example. Usually, we also ask the AI Foundation to return a response as a transfer from model and also ask to make minimum 2 retries. Actually, what we have inside, we have prompt response transfer, and you can find that message value is null, but we have factored message, and it actually returns the instance of requested transfers with all needed properties like random string, also any additional object inside as Spryker transfer. There is also array of strings and collection of transfers. It works quite stable. At least I haven't seen any issues with that, but I recommend to avoid deeply nested transfers for this case. So please use it, and don't forget that it's impossible to add descriptions to each transfer property. So to explain AI what is expected inside exact property. Also regarding tools, I have an examples with toolset. And also I've prepared some dummy tools for this case. Let me set breakpoints here. Here we can see that a foundation already received a response from Anthropic to use this exact tool and pass parameters as arguments. As you can see, 3 parameters that was defined here in this method. And now it can be executed and the result can be received here. And here we have a result of response. And we see structured response that also contains a result of tool invocation. Here we are. Actually, these 3 main features of AI Foundation are now available. And also, just giving you some insider information that next week we expect releasing supporting of chat history. So by just defining it as an additional parameter conversation ID, and all chat history will be stored to the Redis and also can be retrieved for the next iterations. And additional feature that we expect, that's AI workflow, can be combining Spryker state machine with AI, empowering by AI state machine. And in this case, we will have just absolutely similar solution as LangChain, and to be able to build a solution as a graph using already existed Spryker machine. My recommendation, just use Spryker documentation, we update it and trying to make it AI compatible for integration. So we will be able just to copy, paste, or just feed a link to AI model and it will integrate it by itself.
Okay, if there isn't any questions, we can go to the next topic, and it would be AI Dev SDK with Veronica. Veronica, please go ahead.
Yeah, I will start and I will continue. Yeah. So, Vitaly, please.
So you should be able to see my screen. So what is AI Dev SDK? It's actually a Spryker library, MCP server that adds some tools that can help your code agent to develop some features. It's easy to install. You just need to run composer require, transform generate, This AI Dev provides you two commands. It's MCP server one and a command regenerate prompts for this MCP server. I already installed it to my project. So you can see that I added it to console dependency provider and installed it via compiler. What we saw here is we added MCP tools as list of plugins. So it's easy to add new tool. You can even extend this library on project level and add your own tools. Also, you can add prompts, but I will show how to add custom prompts later. And I will show you how to work with this MCP server and the cloud code. So, how to install tool. We have a command here. You can just copy it to clipboard and run it from project core. So we can check if it was added. So we can see that we have Spryker project MCP server. Let's open code. So we see that we have some tools here. For now, it's only 5. Possible to retransfer structure by namespace, by name. So we know that in Spryker we have transfer structures in different files. And this tool allows to code agent to get a structure of one transfer by one command. Just filter tools to read interface methods by namespace, for example, for certain plugin. And depending on mass transitions, that allow it for some specific order. And some more features. So we have 9 features for now. Important is that this MCP server runs under Docker SDK. So it's on project gear, Docker SDK console, and etc. So you need to start your Docker SDK when you develop Spryker, but I'm sure that it's often started when you develop some features. It will running MCP server under Docker SDK allows us to connect database from this MCP server, read files, change files in project, and a lot of other things. So let's check the tools works. For example, this database. So simple question, and code has to allow to use execute database query. Sell account from Spy customer. So yes. And she received a response and answer us that we have 26 customers. We can see that it's true. Also, for example, we can ask a question, what code asks us to use the transfer structure by name? Yes, and she found that the item transfer has 2 properties, shipment and shipment type. Also, we generate prompts console command. It generates file in SRC generated shared prompts. So it generates files with a lot of prompts. It was downloaded from Spryker prompt library. And you, especially for cloud code, you can give prompts with /prompt name. For example, per stage, you can just run this prompt. Cloud code will ask you, for example, to add properties. Also, you can add your own prompts. To do it, you need to create prompts folder with the files. So I already created one. It's a simple prompt to fix PHP in doc. It requires title description and prompting itself. For now, I should not find it. Yeah, I don't find it. So then I will start them. And now I can run prompts that I added under this. So you can see that we have it. Oh, and we also can provide this first name as parameter here. So we can write here any class.
So if there are no questions, I will continue to tell you about our Spryker AI Dev SDK capabilities. So for this, I need to share my screen. So there are additional tools in our Spryker AI Dev SDK. We also introduced the tool that can help to debug OMS processes because sometimes it can be challenging. So that we introduced just 2 simple tools that can help to identify, for example, why your order is stuck. Let's see. I need to check on why my order is stuck. So I will ask Node code, and let's see how it can using our Spryker OMS tool. After getting the results, it got that this order is in grace period started state. And based on this, it tells us what possible states are to transition for this order, and also how it can be transitioned into other states. Like, for example, we have here the event skip grace period. Yeah, so it has timeout, and yeah, sometimes Node even can tell you even when it will be transitioned. Also, you can just check, for example, if you need to add some new state, yeah, and you do not know, for example, where you can add it, you can ask a suggestion of your AI agent in using these MCP tools. For example, I need to add new state after wait. Please tell me possible transitions. So in this case, this tool will return all possible transitions for all possible processes for this state. Yeah, like this one. For example, for non-payment 01, we have paid and product review requested. For dummy payment, we have paid and commission calculated. For marketplace payment, we have also paid and commission calculated. And this can help you to understand and where to put your new state and or how to debug the errors, yeah, and how to identify what's going on with your order. Also, the second tool which we have is searching by Spryker documentation. For example, I need to know something about feature, let's say, order amendment. So I'm just asking, could you please find documentation about order amendment feature? So this tool will be searching the documentation about this feature across the Spryker documentation. And we need to wait a bit for the results. And here we have different links pointing to the documentation. We can open it and check and read about this feature.
So for the AI use cases, maybe we're going to be setting up another meeting like this one, so we have more time to explain what we've been working on. We'll let you know. So any open questions now related to what you've seen so far? Any ideas that are coming to your mind for your future projects or what you've been working on? Come on, guys, don't be shy.
Getting information about stuck orders or OMS in general might be a nice feature for clients to at least experiment with, to enable non-technologists to figure out stuff. Maybe even with allowing an agent to read from a database to figure out more about why things are stuck or why things are going wrong. So before they create a bug ticket, they can actually gain deeper insights and provide all of that in a ticket for further investigation or even unstuck things themselves. So I think there's lots of potential in providing that and experimenting with this. So definitely going to promote that.
Go ahead, Antonio.
Yeah, I also wanted to ask if that's what I'm thinking at the moment. So I think also, Veronica, you can confirm if I'm wrong. I think it doesn't look in very impression very awesome. Let's say the MCP, the fact that MCP has access to the Spryker documentation. But I think this also has a lot of potential because let's say we update the documentation in a daily pace. As soon as we are releasing something, we add the documentation, but the models, they are not really updated with the most updated information, right? Whenever you use agent coding, so you want to develop something using AI, you're always going to have the most up-to-date state about the documentation, about everything we have developed, right? You are going to have better results, right? What development, Veronica?
Yeah, I totally agree here. And also, even sometimes you might not even know about some features that exist in Spryker, yeah, or you want to implement some use case and you can ask AI agent to search across the documentation to check if such feature exists, yeah, something like this. I think it can be very useful.
So about the one question from my side is, so when I make an inquiry with the AI Dev SDK, so we have free access to all of the important tables or just a few ones that we can configure?
You don't get access to all tables. So you can
Right.
the queries as it, it's not possible to run write data, but you can try. So maybe you can.
Yeah. So it means maybe we can even get structured data out of the database. If I ask a question, okay, can you return a list of the last 20 orders that were sent and with their status and customers? and then have that in a, I don't know, comma separated format and then copy and paste. So I was just imagining having a back office interface like with the chat where I can just make inquiries to this SDK feature and get information, as Thomas was saying, before opening a ticket. Where is my order? Why the order is in this status and is not going forward? And it's a nice feature.
Yes, so it's even possible to get database structure. My last task is that where I use this tool, so I needed to get some table relations and the imports, and AI helped me with this.
Nice. See, a lot of things are coming to my mind on how to use it. Thank you. Go ahead, Anthony.
Yeah, I would like also to follow up on the same topic. So I assume also, for example, having this database tool, we could achieve something like sometimes you have some production server or some staging server, and then maybe you want to extract some data from there for migrating into production or formatting CSV for importing. So I assume probably you can even ask to extract some data from the database and format it to some specific data importer. So you can just copy the CSV and put it in your demo data for the project.
No, because it's right query.
No, but not writing, but generating the CSV so I can create it by myself. Yeah?
But it's not a good idea to connect database, but it's possible.
Yeah, you can always extract the database and install it locally and inspect. Sometimes it's required. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vitaly.
Okay. Any other question, guys? Great. Presenters, any other news, any other hints for the future, for upcoming meetings so that people stay connected and eager to come back?
I can see if we have a question about UCP. Is that right, Dominic? Okay, so this protocol is also, let's say, super new. So it has been released this week. And for sure, as part of commerce, we are also trying to discover, get more insights and really see if this really can create some value on our customers. And if that's positive, then for sure in the future, we may want to include this. But for now, we are still on the discovery phase. I hope this also answered the question, Dominic.
I think there was Carlos who raised his hand.
Yes, I wanted to ask if you could give us an example of how to generate the Cypress. I see a Cypress prompt. Maybe I don't know if you have something prepared. I was checking the code, but I wasn't able to see anything related to Cypress. I don't know, maybe it's not in the latest release of the repository, but maybe you could have something to share. It's interesting for us in the context of what project.
You mean you didn't find a prompt exactly, yeah?
So Carlos, what you mean is how to use the Cypress prompt to run it on your code, on your local environment, right?
Yes, and if this is available from the latest SDK.
Yeah, it's available. You need to run from the commands that generate prompts. But if you want to just say this prompt so it looks, or just copy paste somewhere, I will send link to the chat to our public repository with this prompt. So you can see it here.
Okay, we have our prompt library.
If you use Cloud Code, I can quickly show you. So if you use Cloud Code and if you run as this command console and then generate prompts, you will be able to use these prompts with a slash and find by name or another agent. It can be different, but it will you to run it.
Okay. Great, thank you.
Also, guys, if you have a cool prompt that you use in Spryker and you want to contribute to the prompt library, it'd be nice if you make some pull requests to the repo.
By the way, if you have any ideas for AI Dev SDK as an MCP server tool, you can also describe them and by opening a new issue in the repository. So feel free. It's the same for AI foundation model.
Vitaly, there's a question. Can we have a small document about the prompts for Cypress? With the QA team.
So we don't have documents, I guess, but we have prompt exactly in this library under a coding assistance folder. And there is one. For now, there is only one prompt, but maybe if you want more, you
I've
can.
posted it in the chat. Yeah. So it's here. Basically, this is all we have about Cypress. No, I think not only. Maybe we also have some rules here in our prompt library related to Cypress tests here as well. So I hope that it will be very useful for you if you need Cypress. So I posted links in the chat.
I think we also published to ChatGPT QA assistant. I don't know, guys, if it's up to date with the latest rules. The one that we published some months ago into as a ChatGPT agent.
If there is a silence, I also may share some additional insight that wasn't initially planned in our Spryker documentation. So in AI assistant area, you also can find additional tools that can be applicable for Spryker development. And recently, we also published our Spryker documentation into Context 7. So now it's available in the Context 7 MCP server. So it's responsible for semantic search in the public documentation because the tool that is in Spryker AI Dev and Spryker SDK uses algo search. And also what is new in the documentation, that's ability to set up a Cloud Code or language server like PHP 10 or Elephant and make your development smarter in this feature. So it can notify a Cloud Code with some issues in files related to language.
Great. Thank you, Vitaly.
We add more and more capabilities or different AI tools and update them in Spryker documentation. That's at least this section, AI, is always up to date.
All right, guys. I think it's been an amazing session, and I have never seen so many people together in a user group. So thank you very much for attending, and we're going to be happy receiving you in our next meetings and show you more cool things that are to come. Thank you.